Welcome to Detroit Sports Jersey, Saturdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, broadcasting live from Detroit and stretching to the heart of Central Texas. Here on WCHB 1200 and 99.9 FM with co-host Longhorn. Straight sports talk, no professionals here. Live call-in number 313-568-1200. And now, here's your host that never gets it right but is never wrong, Will Sims.
All right, welcome to Detroit Sports Jersey. I'm your host, Will, sitting up in here with the Longhorn, February the 28th, 2015. What's going on, Longhorn? Longhorn, is your mic on?
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Okay, cool. We're going to talk some Lions, some Combine today. We're going to have some gentlemen calling in from Detroit Lions Pro. They actually went down to the Combine in Indy, and they're going to give us an update on some players who they think the Lions should or should not get. And so we're going to start off with that. We're going to mix in a little Sue. They got till Monday to make their decision on what's going on. So, Longhorn.
That's right.
Before we get started, though, Longhorn, let me pay respect to Earl Lloyd, the first African-American basketball player in the NBA. He was like the Jackie Robinson of the NBA, so I want to send out our condolences to him, his family, and friends, and R.I.P. Earl Lloyd. Also,
that's right.
Also, Anthony Mason passed away today, 48 years old, last night, should I say. So, condolences goes out to him and his family, friends also.
Yes, young guy.
All right, let's jump right up into it. We got Detroit Lions Pro and the Lions. Welcome to Detroit Sports Jersey.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Introduce yourself to the people.
I'm Caleb, Detroit Lions Pro, and I my partner Colin, and basically, we're website based, just analyzing Detroit Lions organization. We went to the Combine and got some interviews and analysis from there as well.
Okay, so you guys was up in Indy at the Combine. So give us y'all thoughts on what players y'all think that the Lions should target, go after, and they, as of course, they got the number 23rd overall pick. And so what do you think you see the Lions, what would be the guy that you think that they should go after?
Yeah, well, I think they're going to target, after losing, the top 4 defensive tackles are going to be free agents this year. You got Sue, obviously, contract talks with Sue, Nick Fairley, Andre Fluellen, and C.J. Mosley. So I think they can keep 3 out of the 4. I think they have a decent chance of keeping 3 out of the 4. So that leaves them either losing Nick Fairley or Sue. So I think they're going to draft the defensive tackle in the first round at pick 23. And I think a couple guys that they could possibly go after is Eddie Goldman from Florida State and Malcolm Brown from Texas. And Eddie Goldman, he's a big guy. He's pretty versatile. He's played defensive end. He played defensive end his junior year, and then switched back to defensive tackle, nose tackle his senior year. So he has a lot of versatility. He has a lot of size. He's mobility. And he knows about the Lions. He follows Sue. He mentioned at the Combine. He watched Sue in Nebraska, so obviously whether he replaces Sue or whether he plays alongside of him, he really knows the scheme of the Lions, and he uses his size and frame better than a lot of other defensive ends coming into the draft. And then Malcolm Brown, another guy coming out of Texas, he ran a 5-second 40-yard dash. He's a big guy. He uses his frame as well. He's very versatile. And he can play either position, 4-3 or 3-4. He can play either one. And he has more of a motive. He has a family. He's coming out of college, and he really has that chip on his shoulder. He has a high motive, and he's focused. He mentioned that a lot at the Combine. He's going to stay focused because he's playing for more than just himself. He's playing for his family too, and I think he'd be a great fit for the Lions, which is how he plays, hard-nosed every down.
Okay, let me throw the number out there, 313-568-1200. If you want to call in, have any questions for these gentlemen from Detroit Lions Pro, I'm quite sure they'll answer any questions that you ask them about your Detroit Lions. Also,
That's right.
Also, let me ask you guys a question. Trey Waynes from Michigan State. Did y'all get a chance to see him at the Combine?
We did. And he's a guy that really, in my opinion, boosted his draft stock as well. He ran a fast 40, and I think he would be a great fit. I don't know, as there's a lot of speculation around cornerbacks and where they're going to get drafted this year, but Trey Waynes definitely was one of those guys who really helped his draft stock in the 40 in different events that he participated in the Combine. I think you could see him moving up in the draft, especially coming out of Michigan State. He's a local guy, so definitely good to see him perform well.
I see your partner done join us, Kyle. How you doing, Kyle?
Hey, good. How are you guys doing?
All right. Let me throw the number out there again, 313-568-1200. We got Kyle and Kalen from Detroit Lions Pro.
What's up, Colin?
Hey, how you doing?
All right.
All right.
So, Longhorn, you have any questions for these gentlemen?
No, but we got a pool. I did a little pool informative polling down here
I was going to say pool.
about Sioux. But we got some Sioux fans down here in Texas. And the numbers went like this. 15% say they didn't care whether or not he stayed or go. 45% said, keep old Sioux on the lines. And 40% said he needed to go. You know what I'm saying? And they even got, how like in New York City, with the drop of the ball and they do the countdown, there's a sports bar down here. They actually have the Citadel Sports Bar Sports Bar and Grill. There's quite a few Lions fans down here. You may not believe it in here in Texas, but they actually have a little countdown clock to his final finale of whether or not the Lions are going to keep him. And they're actually going to have a countdown party, and that's how they do it down here in Texas. Can you believe it? Yes, they are. A countdown party to whether or not they're going to keep him. So my thing is, he need to go ahead and make a decision. You know what I'm saying? And I think if he was to go someplace, there's two teams I think he could go to. But there's some negative and some positives. One, I think he'd go to the Colts because the Colts, they got a cap of $44 million. They got the best young. They can afford him. That's right. And they got the best young quarterback in the NFL.
He's not.
That's the positive.
Forget that.
But the negative about that is, eventually, they got to pay Luck for what he's worth. So they got to pay Luck for what he's worth, and I don't think the Colts are going to go out on a limb and pay a defensive tackle and take any money from Luck. Unlike Stafford, where he don't want to give up no money to keep Stu around.
Okay, let's go to Longhorn. You long-winded here. Let's go to line 3 and talk to Will. Will, thanks for calling in. Don't y'all agree he was long-winded? Yeah. See, even the producers even said you long-winded, man.
Hey,
get to the point.
I'm going for the bomb, brother. I'm going for the TD all the way from the 1 yard line.
You still talking?
What's going on? I'm calling to talk to them Lions specialists y'all got in there.
Hey, Will, thanks for calling the Detroit Sports Jersey. You have any questions for them gentlemen from Detroit Lions Pro?
Yes, they were at the Combine and they've been studying the Lions. Tell us a pick that we might make that's going to make us upset. Like how everybody was mad when we got Ebron. We know we need an offensive lineman. We know we need a defensive tackle. But tell us something off the grid. Who we might get that, like New York Jets fans, that we're going to be mad about. Like who they whispering about, what position they whispering about that we don't need to address, but knowing our front office, they might mess around and grab anyway if he's still there.
A kicker.
Kicker the first round, yeah. Well, I think, there's a couple positions I think they're really going to target. It's going to be offensive line and the defensive line. And so one guy that I really think that Lions fans need to keep their eye out is Malcolm Brown from Texas. Some people even said he might go to top 10. He might fall, he might not. But if he is there, I think they're going to take him. Another option.
Sorry to interrupt you, Colin, but I think when you're looking at guys outside the offensive line, defensive line, I think they could. Much speculation has been on the running back position, and I think Melvin Gordon, first round pick, he can slot in the first round. I think that's another guy outside the offensive line, outside the defensive line, that could be a surprise pick because they just cut Reggie Bush, and they're looking at that Reggie Bush type player, whether Theo Riddick can fill that position or not. I think Melvin Gordon is a guy that you should keep your eye on. That's outside of that offensive line and defensive line position.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Caleb. Because Melvin Gordon, he was with the Badgers, he was killing them.
Go ahead, Will. Say that again.
I said if we grab a running back, remember how last year the tight end supposed to upgrade our offense, but it found out we didn't need a tight end. He didn't produce. So if we grab this Gordon guy, can we use him, or is this one another pick that we could have stayed with Jaquel Bell and Theo Riddick and went another way with the draft pick?
I think if they drafted a running back, he would be a day one contributor.
Yeah, Melvin Gordon's a beast, Will. Melvin Gordon's a beast. When they was doing the Heisman Trophy running.
I ain't disputing none of that, but we picked the guy 10 last year, and we didn't get no production.
See, hold on. Let me tell you. I think what Will's trying to say is here that when we got Ebron, he was a bust compared to what the Giants got out of Odell Beckham. Is that what you're trying to say, Will?
Right. So I'm saying is, if we get a running back, there's the potential there for him not to be a bust. Like we got Jaquel Bell and Theo Riddick. Do we need to draft a running back, or do we need?
Well, we do, because Joyce Bell is going to be he's 29. He's going to be 29 soon. And so the running back peak is always about 30 years, is what they say. 30 years old, they start to go on the decline. So I think they do need a running back. And on that Eric Ebron being a bust, that's easy to say the first year, but the first year in the NFL is always the hardest year. You look at Darius Slay, 2 years ago. They drafted him in the second round. People all said he was a bust in the first round, or in his first year.
Right.
People said he wasn't good. But then the second year he came out and he, was one of the better quarterbacks in the whole NFL.
Hey, but wait a minute. Odell Beckham missed the whole preseason. He missed the first 4 games of the regular season and still outshined our tight end. So to say that the first year is a bust,
but you got to think of this too, Will. How many plays did they give the tight end? They didn't give enough plays for the offensive line, though. You got to think about that too.
Like Will said, the point I'm making is, like, if we grab a running back, are we overlooking all the rest of our holes? Like, that's what I mean. Like, we got the tight end. Only reason he was a bust because our team had so many other holes. So, like, can we afford the way our roster looks, even though contracts is coming up? Can we grab a running back in the first round when we need defensive tackle, offensive lineman, linebacker, cornerbacks, and safety? That's what I'm saying. Like, can we afford to go off the grid and get another fancy pick for the offense when we got holes everywhere on the team?
No, you can't. And that's why when you're looking at running back, and you're looking at, first of all, Odell Beckham Jr. is in a different system. He plays a different position than Eric Ebron. So there's going to be differences. And I think Eric Ebron can still produce, and I think he can still become an elite tight end. It'll just take him more time than it took Odell Beckham Jr. And I don't think that the Lions are seriously going to take a running back. They could, but I think the 2 positions we're looking at is offensive line, whether that's tackle, whether that's guard if they address that in the free agency, or defensive tackle. I think that's where they'll go. I think they'll go with defensive tackle. I think they'll go with either Malcolm Brown if he falls down to pick 23, or Eddie Goldman. But I don't think they'll pick a running back. But outside of both offensive line and defensive line, running back is probably the next position to address for the Lions.
All right, Will, we appreciate you calling in and listening. Hope them guys answered your question.
Will.
All right.
All right, you have a good one now. Well, we'll make some very interesting points. I'll tell you what, let's go to line 4 and talk to Glenn. Glenn, thanks for calling Detroit Sports Jersey. Have any questions for Detroit Lions Pro?
No, not offhand. I've been following the draft a little bit, but I do know this. Getting a running back, it wouldn't be that bad, because if you look at Theo's record since he's been with the Lions, he never averaged over 3 yards a carry, and Bell hardly ever gets 4 yards. We ranked 23rd overall in offense. So, yeah, we out of 32 teams, we need a big time running back.
I think we need some linemen, offensive. Your running back is going to do you no good if you ain't got nobody to block. He's no good.
I remember when the Lions was picking number 1 overall back in the 80s, and we had the same offensive line, and we brought in a guy by the name of Billy Sims. And we had all of a sudden,
there you go.
All of a sudden our offense clicked.
Yeah, that's true. Detroit Lions Pro, you have any comment on that about getting the running back?
About Theoretic and his average per carry, he's more of a screen player or a receiver in the backfield. That's what he excels at. Machine room, like running through the holes. He's not very good at that. So you have a point there.
Yep. Okay, have a good.
All right, thanks, Dan. Thanks for calling in. Check this out. We're about to take a quick commercial break. When we come back from a commercial break, I want to ask you, gentlemen, Sue stay or do he leave? But check this out. Ladies, if you're looking for great deals on hair, you want natural Brazilian or Malaysian hair, for more details, go to prettysadiddyhair.com and listen for these great offers.
Detroit Sports Jersey is sponsored by prettysadiddyhair.com. Beautiful, top-quality Brazilian, Malaysian, and Peruvian hair extensions. Our natural virgin Brazilian body wave hair is one of the highest quality Brazilian human hair on the market. Each bundle has been collected from select donors, and all cuticles are intact. All of our natural virgin Brazilian body wave hair has undergone a quality assurance process to ensure it is free of imperfections. Our bundles start at 10 inches for $50 and ship within 10 days. Get the soft, gorgeous, and manageable hair you have always wanted. Shop now at prettysadiddyhair.com or call 334-327-3098.
Detroit Sports Jersey is sponsored by Bambir.com. Join Traffic Monsoon, an online advertising and revenue sharing platform where you can earn money online, get paid every hour, get the opportunity to deliver traffic to your website. It's easy to join. Just go on www.bambir.com. That's BEMBERE.com. Bambir.com. Detroit Sports Jersey is sponsored by Fiverr.com/ENO Productions. For professional photo montages at a fraction of the price, check out Fiverr.com/ENO Productions. This is where Detroit Sports Jersey goes for video work week after week. ENO Productions is capable of taking on all different kinds of projects, from commercials to weddings and so much more. That's Fiverr.com/ENO Productions. That's FIVERR.com/ENO Productions.
All right. Welcome back to Detroit Sports Jersey. I'm your host, Will, with the Longhorn. We have Detroit Lions Pro. Gentlemen, before we go any further, tell people how they can reach you and follow you and get in contact with you.
DetroitLionsPro.com is our website, and our Twitter handle is @DLPNFL. And you can also contact us via email at contact@DetroitLionsPro.com.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. Deadline is coming up, 4 p.m. Monday. Lions have a decision to make. Do they keep Sue, or do they let him test the free agent market? Let me hear you gentlemen's opinion on that.
Well, I think they need him. They need Sue. He's one of the best defensive tackles in all of NFL. But the problem is, it's always going to be down to money. Can they afford him or can they not? I think franchise tag is out of the question. I don't think they can afford to franchise tag him. So it's going to be come down to, getting a long-term extension in there, So it's going to be interesting to see if they are going to be able to get that done.
And I think if they don't re-sign Sue, if he doesn't come back, I think the couple places of interest, you mentioned Indianapolis, I think maybe Jacksonville, I think Oakland, because those are West Coast teams. Those are teams that are rebuilding. Those are teams that have money to pay big name guys. I think those two places could be the places of interest for Sue that he could possibly go.
Well, don't you think he also can go to New York where he can brand his name off of the field also, where he can maybe New York, the Jets or the Giants don't have that type of money to pay him, but he can get it off the field.
Well, the only thing about going to New York, they have $50 million, so they're like 89% below their spending threshold. And they already got two-star players on there. New York, they play that 3-4 defense. They already got two-star players. They got Muhammad Wilkerson down there, and they got Sheldon Richardson. So they have to find a place to put Sue in that defense. You know what I'm saying? So it's a totally different defense than what the Lions are used to running them. So he can go there and brand itself and market itself, but Detroit, New York, they're relentless about non-forgiving. So if you go up there and you're not strapped on tight, he won't be there for long either. So,
hey, Cal, let me ask you a quick question. Of course, the Lions then got rid of Reggie Bush. Should they go after a running back in the free agent market, or should they draft one? Your thoughts?
I think probably the biggest name free agent running back is Justin Brissett. They probably can't afford him, but it'd be nice to get him. And so really, I think the best way to get a running back would be through the draft.
I think going on to Colin's point, I think if you're looking in the draft, I think a name that definitely pops up, not as a first-round pick, but maybe a mid-round pick, is Tevin Coleman out of Indiana. I think Big Ten produced a lot of top-tier running backs going into the draft, and Tevin Coleman was one of those guys who was one of the bright spots on Indiana's offense. And I think if you're going to go get a running back, I think the draft is the best idea, and I think Tevin Coleman is a guy that the Lions could take mid-round that could fill in the spot of Reggie Bush.
Yep, and another guy is actually Todd Gurley. He would probably be the number one running back available had he not torn his ACL mid-season.
That's the guy I was thinking about, too. I was just thinking about him.
Yep, so his draft stock lowered a lot because of the injury. But nowadays, there's good, doctors and stuff. Coming off an ACL tear is not the end of a career. So I really think he can still make an impact on an NFL team. And he probably will be there at pick 21 with Lions 6. So he would definitely be another name to watch out for.
Let me throw another name at you guys. And former Packers player, they just released him, A.J. Hawk. Should the Lions take a look at him?
I don't think they should, because if you look at what A.J. Hawk has done, his numbers have decreased in the past 2 years. I think they show his first 2 seasons he was producing, 80-plus tackles. Now he's down, or not 80-plus tackles, around 60-plus tackles. Now he's down. He has Clay Matthews. He has the defense that could allow him to be dynamic. He hasn't shown it. He's declined the past few years. I think he's on his way out of the NFL.
Yep, and you look at the Lions linebacker position. They have some young stars. They have DeAndre Leffy, Stephen Tolick. They just drafted Kyle Vinoy last year. So they have a pretty stacked linebacker position, actually. So I don't think they should look at A.J. Hawk.
Just bypass him.
What about Kevin Williams? He played for the Seahawks. He made five straight Pro Bowl appearances.
He'd be another guy to look at when you're looking to replace some defensive lineman. I think he's a solid guy to put in the rotation. But I just think they're going to look more into the draft rather than free agency for defensive tackles. But I think when you're looking in free agency, I think a guy that could stand out that we haven't mentioned on the offensive line is Mike Iupati. He will be expensive, but they've had problems with positions on their offensive line, left tackle, with the injuries to Corey Hilliard, with injuries to Adrian Waddle. They struggled with the offensive line, obviously, last year. So I think when you're looking at offensive line, I think you could look free agency. Maybe Mike Iupati, he could be expensive. He's definitely the top offensive lineman coming into free agency. And then defensive lineman, I think the draft. So Kevin Williams, he could be a guy to get in the rotation, maybe at a cheaper price. So I think ultimately the Lions will look for the draft to get somebody young.
Let me throw the number out there, 313-568-1200. We have Detroit Lions Pro. Feel free to call in and ask them anything about your favorite Detroit Lions players, team, positions. All right, Detroit Lions Pro, you're on the clock. Who do you take in the draft?
You're on pick 21. You're on the clock. I think they take Malcolm Brown if he is available, defensive tackle.
Now, that depends on if Sue stays or leaves?
You know what? I think either way, if the Lions bring back Ndamukong Suh, that means Nick Fairley will probably end up leaving. So it's either going to be Nick Fairley and Ndamukong Suh. They might both leave, or you might be able to just keep one. I don't think you can keep both. So I think there's going to be an open defensive tackle spot available, so I think Malcolm Brown could easily fill that spot. I think when you're looking at the draft, I think Malcolm Brown, if he's there, but I think Eddie Goldman ultimately, I think Malcolm Brown will get drafted before Eddie Goldman.
and Eddie Goldman is a guy who he did decently in the combine, and he expressed interest and he knows the defense. So I think ultimately Eddie Goldman will be the guy that the Lions select.
Longhorn, you on the clock. Who you drafting?
I'm drafting a running back. I'm going with Melvin Gordon from the Badgers.
Me, myself, I'm going for straight offensive lineman. But I don't think whoever you throw in that offense, running back, receiver, tight, whatever, that's going to do you no good if you don't have no blocking. It's just no good. So,
right.
So Stafford straight, he's only looking at one player, and everybody know who that is, Calvin. He's lost after Calvin. And once he can't find Calvin, he get to panic, and he holds on to the ball too long, which causes him to get sacked a lot.
And close his eyes.
Hey, let me go back to this combine thing. Do y'all think this combine is overhyped? Do you think sometimes these GM be playing head games with other GM? For a perfect example, there's one scout out there this guy ain't even played a down in the NFL yet, and already they comparing Jameis Winston to Joe Montana.
Oh my God.
That's way too premature. Yeah,
I mean,
that's a little overhyped.
And I'm not only gonna point him out. How about last year's overhyped player, which they actually I think they just signed was it Josh
McCown?
Yeah, Cleveland. I mean they hyped Johnny Manziel up, and already they looking for done signed another quarterback.
Right.
You know, that's why I'm saying, do y'all think this combine is overrated, or do they need it? Do they need to get rid of it? I mean,
I don't think they need to get rid of it from a standpoint of that it's the only collective activity you see from the draft, from top tier draft guys that are going into the NFL. I think it's overhyped because of the fact that it's the only time you get to see all those guys going into the draft run the same things, whether it's the 40, and half the time the 40 doesn't even matter. If you're a quarterback, it'll matter maybe 3-4 times a season. But I think a big part is the interviews the GMs, the coaches get to do with the players. I think that's one of the biggest things coaches and staff get out of the combine is those interviews. So I think the reason media and everyone else hypes up the combine is because we get too focused on whether Marcus Mariota can run a faster 40 than Jameis Winston or not.
I still think the best way to tell what you're getting is just watch film. Film's the best way to scout a player.
Yeah, like they say, the tape don't lie. Gentlemen, we would like to thank you guys for being on the show today. Once again, Detroit Lions Pro, give out the information where people can follow you and reach you. Any questions?
Twitter at DLPNFL. Our website's DetroitLionsPro.com. And then you can also contact us via email at contact@DetroitLionsPro.com. And I'm Caleb, and that's Colin.
All right, we got one more call on the line, and if the producer will wake up, and we might can get to him before we get up off the air.
Throw the flag on
Throw the flag. All right, call the line 3. Quick question. You got any questions for Detroit Lions Pro?
Talking to me?
Yes.
No, I was just going to ask you a question about do I think that Jameis Winston is overhyped? Yes, I do. And I watch college football. Yes, I think he's kind of overhyped. And to me, maybe it's just me being a mother, I think that he needs to stay another year in college. And he was my child, but then, you got to look at the thing. He might get hurt and all of this. But right now, I think that he's kind of young, and I think he's kind of immature. And I think that once he get in the NFL, honey, I think he's going to have a full ring, because who's going to watch him?
Yeah, that's true. Well, hopefully he done grew up by then. All we can do is hope and pray.
So, but you heard what I said. That's just me being a mama.
I heard you, Mama. I heard you loud and clear. Thanks for calling.
Thank you, listeners from Detroit to Central Texas, for joining us here live on Detroit Sports Jersey with your host, Will Sims, and co-host Longhorn, every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern, right here on WCHB 1200 AM and 99.9 FM. Visit us at DetroitSportsJersey.com. Straight sports talk. No professionals here. Have a great weekend.